So you just saw right now from the video that I was making exactly what has been going on. Just the fact that my dad, the Greedy Framer, what he was caught doing in the year 2011, was something that he was doing. It was extremely dangerous, and it was what would trigger an invasion, and not just someone saying something. And yet, the fact of the matter is that in the year 2023, right before August 25th, 2023, when I won my case, law enforcement were using things like invasion and this and that to try to exaggerate things against me and try to make things look bad. And not only were they doing this, they were doing it from early childhood, where anyone could have remotely even have said something bad around me as a child. Now, the thing about it is, it would only be someone saying something bad around me, and that was after my mother had already spoken with law enforcement when I was an 11-year-old child, making a promise that she fulfilled the moment I became even slightly mentally mature, just like how she said on February 15th at 8:30 p.m. Now, the fact of the matter is, they're gonna give this talking point to other people, but the fact of the matter is, this entire invasion thing is basically not only exaggerated, but it is BS, considering the fact that in a court of law, you don't look at what happened with what someone said around a child, especially if it's one of law enforcement's own BFFs, and they're desperately trying to exaggerate this, especially when it's something that's being said and nothing that's been done. Not one person harmed, not one person attempted to be harmed, not one person told to harm another person, not one person told to join a terror group, not one person trying to join a terror group, not one person encouraged to mass murder or do anything of that certain nature. There's no record of anyone trying to or attempting to harm or wanting to harm anyone at all, whereas in the year 2011, you have a clear record of my dad, the Greedy Framer, every single day from his house, calling people to his house to give sermons on nothing else except for trying to get people to go and join terror groups and to mass murder innocent human beings, so much so that it literally got the law enforcement involved. Whatever anyone could have said around me as a child, it would only be one of law enforcement's own BFFs, never my mother. And it would only be after my mother had already gotten permission from law enforcement for me to be in any setting where anything remotely considered bad could be said around me as a child. And only temporarily, daily, only while my mother was working at fast food restaurants or at factories at nighttime, and only until I gained the slightest bit of mental maturity as a child. Whereas what happened, there's absolutely no record from when I was a child of anyone joining terror groups, anyone being encouraged to join terror groups, anyone doing anything of that certain nature, where anyone was joining terror groups, encouraging others to join terror groups, giving mass sermons to people at their houses to go and join terror groups and commit mass murder in the name of jihad. Nothing of that certain nature. No record of anyone telling anyone to even go harm anyone, and no record of that person actually going and harming anyone. Whereas in 2011, there were people that my dad, the Greedy Framer, were calling over to his house each and every single day to go out and commit mass murder, kill innocent human beings in the name of jihad. And it was so much so, and it occurred every single day in 2011, so much so that in the end, what ended up happening was they had to get the law enforcement involved, and law enforcement became involved, and law enforcement basically sent in the government informant basically to try to stop him. And the government informant from law enforcement was continuously trying to twist his words, as he liked to say, twist my words, twist my words. He was saying a third time he was given the opportunity to talk, narrate in the trial against me, and he kept saying, twisting my words, you're twisting my words, only for due to the fact that there was a flaw in every single statement he made the third time he was allowed to narrate, and that third time was only after being found twice of making complete total lies, only to create mass panic and chaos, only to be kicked out after the second time, and trying to get me to commit incest in exchange for illegal assurance of money, saying that that was the only way out for him to get illegal assurance of money, since he wasn't able to enviously lock up my brain savant, and he was Then he came back the third time, and the third time in court he made lies very aggressively. He abused every single person in the courtroom only to try to make those lies and so that people couldn't talk back to him. And every time there were flaws found in his statements for the third time, he would be like, twisting my words, that's not what I said, only for in the end the courts got sick and tired of it because the man was acting extremely aggressively. He was abusing everyone in the courtroom only due to the fact that he didn't think that he could lock up my brain savant, since it was the third time he was trying this and this was the only option left. Since after the second time he tried to lock up my brain savant, he tried everything possible to try to get illegal assurance of money from me, since he knew that my brain savant would get freed anyways. When he saw that I was in no mood for giving any illegal assurance of a single penny, he went in for the third time very aggressively, and starting April 2026, for the third time he made lies against me very aggressively, and he kept lying over and over again. And every single time his statement was found with a flaw, he would be like, twisting my words, only for the people in the courtroom to be abused by him, yelled at by him, berated by him. And in the end, what ended up happening was the courts got sick and tired of his abuses in the courtroom, due to which they had to retrieve each and every single phone conversation, only to find out that every single statement that my dad, the greedy framer, was saying was a complete and total lie. And was something that I had already told the courtroom and the court judges right when they were about to retrieve phone conversations. I told them, you're going to find out that every single thing that my dad, the greedy framer, this psychopath, said for the third time, he played the courts for a fool, and every single statement that he made for the third time starting April 2026 were all complete and total lies, just like how it was the first time, November 20th, when he begged his framer sisters and law enforcement to fabricate that false testimony, just like how it was the second time he was given an opportunity to narrate again. They were the same lies that the government informant was already confessed to by his framer sister, Ibrahim, the greedy framer spokesperson's envious mother, that these were lies that were already planned out from before to be made against me. Those were the second set of lies. And now the third set of lies were complete and total falsehood. Not one statement was true in the least bit from the phone conversations. The facts and evidences retrieved from the phone conversations. And the third time, my dad, the greedy framer, made these lies very aggressively while abusing each and every single person in the courtroom. And every single time he was asked about a statement having flaws in it, he would say, twisting my words, only for the courtroom to get sick and tired of this old elderly baby in the courtroom harassing everyone, only to make sure that my brain savant couldn't get freed out of extreme envy, so that my mother could not get the money that he couldn't get. And now we also found out that he also had his kids making false testimonies and lies against me as well. This man has done nothing but try to deceive the courtroom into either locking up my brain savant, forcing me to go to him, or trying to use the law enforcement to send me illegal assurances of illegal blackmail for price tags of millions of euros, or requests for me to commit incest with his big fat ugly old fart sisters in exchange for giving him illegal assurance of money when he would feel like my brain savant would get freed anyways. The entire month of March 2026, he has deceived the courtroom from day one over and over and over and over again, only to create mass panic and chaos, using national security for his own personal purpose, using the threat of people doing bad things in this world and national security for his own personal purposes, where November 20th, 2025 was a complete and total falsehood. Not 1 ounce of it was true, and the crime and setting didn't even exist, and it created so much mass panic and chaos in the news media that no news anchor on CNN was able to smile on live TV for days afterwards. And then after that, you had the set of lies that were already confessed to the government informant by Ibrahim, the greedy framer spokesperson's mother, his envious mother, confessing to government informant that she had planned on making more lies against me. Those lies were the ones that he said very aggressively, like, this is what his son wanted to do, this is what he was trying to do, this is the crime he committed, when in fact the courts already knew that these were all complete and total lies, already confessed to a government informant as being lies right before November 20th. The courts informed him on February 10th, 2026, we know these are lies, only for him to go into panic maniac like a psycho that he is. And February 11th, the entire night, he's texting and sending me porn star's picture with his sister's name on it, and then sending it again on March 7th, even though on February 11th through 17 a.m. he was told sending porn star's picture with your sister's name on is open advertisement for incest, it's illegal, and it shows that the price tag blackmails that you're sending us on for millions of euros is for in exchange for him to give you money in exchange for him committing incest with your your big fat ugly old fart sisters, that he doesn't have any interest in doing so, since I told him that. And then yet on March 7th, he was still sending me that same porn star named Sunny Leon's picture with his sister Fur's name on it 3 times. And then on March 10th, he sent me a sexually explicit picture of a woman resembling his big fat ugly old fart sister offering, and every single day after March 10th, only to try to get illegal assurances of money from me, for which he was sending me blackmail price tags. He's been deceiving the court since day one, making false testimonies that he begged law enforcement and his framer sisters to make on November 20th, followed by more lies that were already planned out and confessed to the government informant as being planned lies, followed by incest requests and blackmail price tags for millions of euros through the entire month of March for all of his sisters, to try to commit incest with them in exchange for the illegal assurance of money that he was sending me blackmail price tags for millions of euros for the entire month of March 2026. And then early April 2026, he gets sick and tired of it, realizes that he's made too many lies, realizes that he's already sent me incest requests and blackmail price tags for millions of euros the entire month of March 2026, due to which he had to make his lies very aggressively in April 2026, and he made them very aggressively the entire month of April 2026, and the courts got sick and tired of it, because he was abusing people in the courtroom, telling them that they're not letting him speak when they were, and telling them that they're twisting my words, even though they were only finding faults in his statements because his statements were false. After suffering through all the abuses that the courtroom saw that he was yelling at them, berating people in the courtroom, harassing and aggressively violating them, the courtroom got sick and tired of it, and the courtroom told him, we're going to retrieve each and every single phone conversation there is, but if we find out that you lied again for the 3rd time, you played the court for a fool, you used national security for your own personal purpose of locking up my brain, Stefan, we will never let you narrate ever again, because you showed a lot of abuse, aggressive behavior in this courtroom for the 3rd time. You played us for a fool if we find out you were lying. And I told the courtroom and the honorable judges at that time, I said, Your Honor, you're going to find out that each and every statement that my dad, the greedy framer, made for the 3rd time, he played the court for a fool. And every single statement he made for the 3rd time starting April 2026, Your Honor, were complete and total lies. And that's exactly what we found out the 3rd time, even though it was through aggressiveness, abuse, and he was keep on saying, twisting my words and things of that certain nature every time a flaw was found in the statement. Every single statement he made in April 2026 were complete and total lies, found from the facts and evidences retrieved from the phone conversations. Now, this was the 3rd time that I'm talking about, and the 3rd time only after being caught the 2nd time making lies that were already planned out, that the government informant was told that these are planned lies that we're going to make after November 20th, and after the 2nd set of lies that he made, and he was told on February 10th by the courts, we already know these are lies, it's already been confessed to the government informant before November 20th. As soon as the courts told him that, February 11th, that same night, after midnight, he starts sending me incest requests for his sisters. It's a porn star named Sunny Leon's picture at 3:17 a.m. February 11th. He's told at that time this is an open advertisement for incest, and yet on March 7th, this shameless man sends me that same picture 3 times to try to get me to commit incest with his big fat ugly old sister Fur, the greedy framer, and then 3 times on March 7th, even though he's already told on February 11th. Then on March 10th, and every single day afterwards, he's sending me sexually explicit pictures of a woman resembling his other sister, offering. This disgusting, shameless man is also sending me blackmail price tags for millions of euros, and it basically saying, you give me assurance of this money in exchange to commit incest with my sister before your brain salon gets freed. And I told law enforcement right there and then that since he was sending it through law enforcement, thankfully he was, now we have a lot of ample amount of evidence of all of it because it was sent through law enforcement. I told law enforcement right there and then, I'm going to give him absolutely 0 of this money he's asking for, and no one's interested in his big fat ugly old fart sisters. So in April 2026, he goes into a rage of anger, goes back to the courtroom, he abuses every single person in the courtroom, yells and screams at them, tells them lies over and over again every single day, only for it to be caught as nothing but complete and total lies. And at the end, when the courts were sick and tired of his abuse and berating the people in the courtroom, only due to knowing that he's not going to get a single penny of the money when Brain Savant is freed, and that my mother is going to get it, he was going crazy, yelling and screaming, berating people, abusing people in the courtroom, twisting my words, all these things. Every single time his statements were found to have flaws in them, the courtroom got sick and tired of the abuse, and the courtroom told him right there and then, you have abused every single person in this courtroom. We're going to retrieve every single phone conversation, sir, but if we find out that you lied for the third time after you've given 2 chances already while abusing every single person in the courtroom in the month of April 2026, if we find out you lied for the third time, you will never be able to narrate in this trial ever again. And I told the judge, the honorable judges, so Your Honor, you're going to find that every single statement that this psychotic, my dad, the greedy framer man, has made for the third time starting April 2026, has been a complete and total lie from the facts and evidences from the phone conversations retrieved, and that's exactly what happened. Not one statement that he made was found to be true in the least bit. Every single thing was a complete and total lie, and now we've also found out that he had his kids make false testimonies against me as well, out of extreme anger and envy that I wasn't willing to give him a single, even illegal, not even a fake assurance of any money. And he was asking me to commit incest after he's been caught twice making false testimonies against me, asking me shamelessly on February 11th through 17 a.m. Already told, this is an open invitation for incest. This is disgusting, illegal. He tries it again March 7th, 2026, 3 times, then March 10th. And every single day after March 10th, he's asking me to commit incest with his sisters in exchange for illegal assurance of money, sending me blackmail price tags for millions of euros at the same time. I told him right there and then, I will not give you even a fake assurance of a single penny. You will never get a single penny out of me. Rest assured. And so in April 2026, he created a fiasco in the courtroom, getting aggressive, abusing people in the courtroom so people wouldn't dare talk against him, saying, twisting my words over and over again. Every single time his statement was found to have flaws in them, obviously because they were all false. The phone conversations retrieved only to find out that every single statement he made, complete and total lie from the facts and evidence retrieved from the phone conversations. And I had already told the honorable judges, Your Honor, you're going to find out for the third time that this disgusting psychotic man has lied enviously, aggressively, while abusing every single person in the courtroom, berating them, yelling at them, screaming at them, that every single statement he had made was a complete and total lie while he was abusing everyone in the courtroom, only to make sure that no one could get the money he could not get. And the court found out that every single statement this psychotic man made so aggressively while berating every single person in the courtroom, yelling at them, screaming at them, abusing them, were complete and total lie from the facts and evidences retrieved from the phone conversations. So now we're talking about him and his talking point. His last talking point after all of his false testimonies have been caught, his last talking point and everyone else's that he has gotten to make sure that my brain savant cannot get freed is just that me as a child, while I was being adult supervised as a child, one of law enforcement's own BFFs could have said something around me that could have been considered bad, even remotely. The fact of the matter is the evidence and facts will show that my mother had already spoken with law enforcement when I was an 11-year-old child, letting them know that she was a single mother who worked at fast food restaurants and that she will have to leave me behind with anyone willing to watch me for free, and that anyone could say anything bad around me even though she's not like that. Facts and evidence has showed that she has not spoken one word considered bad since the more than 25 years that she's been watched. In fact, if even today, till this very day today, not one instance of her ever saying anything bad about anyone of any other religion. In fact, if I would ask her that I was going to marry a Jewish girl at a mall, she would give me such a nice answer. I'd just be like, man, if only I asked her this question at home when everyone could have listened, it would have been a lot better. But the fact of the matter is, my mother is nothing like this disgusting man. She's got absolutely no record of one thing being said that was considered bad in the least bit. In fact, after I gained the slightest bit of mental maturity as a child, and my mother's promise was fulfilled, I was never even in a setting where anything remotely considered bad could have ever been said around me that was even remotely considered bad, even though I've never lived with anyone except for my mother ever in my entire life. There's no record of me ever living with my dad, the greedy framer, not even in the same country, and never talking to him on the phone, making it impossible for a man that I've never lived with to have had any influence on my life or environment whatsoever. And also, I never lived with Farah the Greedy Framer either. In fact, I never went near her due to the fact that she made a false sexual accusation against me at one time. She's really good at making false accusations, by the way. We'll get to that in her video of her own. And we know for a fact there was a false sexual accusation due to the fact that she has confessed to it to Sohaib in a phone conversation that she did make false sexual accusation against me. Due to which we know for a fact she did, and I never went anywhere near her, so she can't claim that she had any influence on my environment whatsoever, since, yeah, I never went anywhere near her. Only talked to her on the phone if I ever did. So, yeah, and the facts and evidences will show that she confessed to Sohaib for making this false sexual accusation against me. So now, the fact of the matter is, now there's only one talking point that these people have left after they've made so many lies against me, and that one talking point is going to be that when I was a child, someone could have said something around me as a child that could be even remotely considered bad. Fact of the matter is, every single child deserves a second chance. The reason isn't just the fact that it's a child. The child cannot choose his own surrounding. The child's mother has already spoken with law enforcement. The child already has permission to be there. It's not the child's fault. His mind hasn't even grown yet in this world yet. And it's also the fact that a person's background does not matter in this world. So my background was not bad to begin with, since my mother has never uttered one word considered bad her entire life, not once. So my background wasn't bad, but the circumstances and the necessities of a single mother's background is always bad. A single mother is never going to have all the resources and necessities that she needs in order to provide every single thing that she wants for her child. Even as an adult, law enforcement is a witness to the fact that my mother was not even able to provide me with food while I was in school, and my mother just told me, like, you're going to go overseas to pharmacy school over there, and you got to find a room anywhere, live anywhere, and if you get kicked out, you got to live on the streets, but don't come back without your degree. It reminds me of that scene from 300, like Leonidas' wife, she goes, come back with your shield or on it. It was literally like that. Like, in the end, I was literally sleeping with lizards crawling all around me. I was sleeping in such filthy places in order to get my pharmacy finals overseas that I would go to the bathroom, and I'd be going to the bathroom, I'd see footprints for lizards this big in my room. That's how filthy this place was. You can ask law enforcement if you don't believe me. And like, I was so scared because I'd spent so much money going there to get my pharmacy finals that I had my iPad like glued to my eyes like that. And I remember for a fact one time I had a lizard right on my chest while I had my iPad glued to my eyes like that, because I had a pharmacy final coming over, and I was so scared because I'd spent so much money in going there to get my pharmacy finals, and they were still using amnesia drugs on me, and they still have my brain savant locked up. Exactly how brutal these people are, seeing some poor kid spending so much money on giving his pharmacy finals, and them still trying to inhibit me from being able to get my pharmacy finals, is how brutal they were and how envious they were of me. They could have just let my brain savant go, and I would have been a piece of cake, but they didn't do so. And they confessed in court recently that they forcefully failed me for the last biochem exam by using so much amnesia drugs on me in the exam room, so that I couldn't even remember how to spell my name. They used so much amnesia drugs on me in the last biochem exam that I was thinking, like, is the H before the S or the S before the H on my own name, on the spelling of my own name? That's how much amnesia drugs they used on me, brutally, just to make sure that I had to cancel that exam. But by then I had worked so hard that I ended up getting my degree anyways. So yeah. Even like as an adult, the circumstances around a single mother raising a child and trying to get that child to get an education is never pretty sight. It's always bad. And I remember when I was in my overseas pharmacy school trying to find places to sleep in, the places were so filthy that I would struggle to find a wire to hang my towel in. And same human being. At that time, right now, my dad, the greedy framer, has found out about my brain savant. So all day long, he's like, my house, come over to my house, come over to my house. All day and night long, this psychopath wouldn't leave me alone, only because he's found out about the artificial intelligence reports, marking my brain savant extremely rare and profitable. So annoying. And like throughout my entire life, my mother was the only person who was there by my side helping me out. But being a single mother, it's never easy, and she wasn't able to provide for me, even as an adult. When I was in my overseas pharmacy school, I was basically living out on the streets at places, just to try to give my pharmacy finals. And there were times when I had to live, and law enforcement's a witness to the fact that in my overseas pharmacy school, I used to tutor someone for food and exchange, and basically like I would tutor him for food, and I would go to his house and I would tutor him, and he'd give me food in exchange. And one time I remember really well, and he hid his food, and he tried to give me the food that people have at their houses for like the serfs that work there. He tried the same trick as my stepmother, so I just waited for him to like go smoke a cigarette, and I just went into his kitchen. I stole the real food, and he just came back and he was like, shame on you, you stole my food. And I was like, well, if you want me to tutor you, you're gonna have to share your food with me, or else you're gonna keep failing your exams and stay without a college degree for the rest of your life. It's your choice. I told him straight out on his face, and law enforcement's a witness to this fact, that I told him straight out on his face, like, you either share your food or you live without a college degree, your choice, because I don't think you're gonna be able to pass without it. So he just straightened out after that. But like, I even told my mother about it. She was like, don't pay any mind to it. I was like, I really don't care. But my point being that even when I'm an adult, like, a single mother cannot provide for her kids to get a college education or anything like that. You cannot expect a single mother, when I'm not even working, to have like a picture perfect place for me to be adult supervised in, when I don't have a dad, and that psychopath is now criticizing the places where she would leave me behind at when she was working at fast food restaurants, when he wasn't even present at that time, and he's only criticizing it right now to try to force and scam the course into forcing me to go to him so he could steal all the money, fruits of my mother's labor that she's worked so hard for throughout her entire life. And this psychopathic maniac, my dad, the greedy framer, and I'll tell you exactly what he was doing in 2011, wants to steal it from her. She's never uttered one word considered bad her entire life. Entire life. Zero. From day one told right now, not one word considered bad. And I had a brain scanner attached to my brain since for years and years. I've been living my mother my entire life, never even lived in the same country as my dad, the greedy framer, never even talked to him on the phone, making it impossible for someone to like that to have had any influence on my life or environment whatsoever. And a brain scanner was attached to my brain, showing from facts and evidence is the fact that I would meet people that were Christians, Jewish, Orthodox Jewish people with long beards, and I would meet with them and give them the same level of love and respect, not just outside, but also inside, in heart, that I would have for other people of any other religion there was, whether there was Jewish people, Orthodox Jewish with long beards, Christians, Hindus, anyone of that sort of nature had the same level of love and respect. And I have a brain scanner to prove this data to the courts. Yeah, and so you cannot expect a single mother who's raising children, who can, literally, law enforcement is a witness to the fact that she was barely able to provide for my food when I was in pharmacy school, because in the starting she would only send me like $100, and $100 a month after living in a place where I was basically abused, and I had to pay for my clothes getting stitched because their stepmother would puncture holes in them and add acid to them and do things of that sort of nature. It wasn't easy, and I had to work really hard. She was barely able to pay for my things as an adult. So speaking as a child, when she's working at a fast food restaurant, and the facts and evidences show this, and she's already spoken with law enforcement when I was an 11-year-old child, it makes absolutely zero sense to be criticizing that child for something that one of law enforcement's own BFFs might have said, when that BFF of law enforcement has never been criticized, never been asked a single question, never been told that you did this or you did that, despite law enforcement running sex games with Uncle Joey's in-laws since the year 2001 till this very day today, and aggressively running sex games for Uncle Joey, not just once at the November 2023 funeral. Before that, there's a reason why we call him Uncle Joey, because law enforcement harassed me and told me that he's going to pretend to be Uncle Joey to you on the phone from Full House and you're going to help him. I was like, no, I'm not doing this. My mother told me as a child never to go near him. I'm not doing this. Afterwards, they provided Uncle Joey with top-notch intelligence on my whereabouts after November 2023, just so that he could come near me after I came back from work one day, so that law enforcement could make a video of it as the man who is related to the guy with the triple savant, and then show it to a woman and be like, oh, look, such a nice guy, Uncle Joey. He's just like Uncle Joey from Full House, so that they could run the scam on women, that like how they're doing right now. And I'm gonna make a separate video about the scam for sex right now, because obviously some girl threatened to call the police on Jeanette again yesterday. So basically, the thing about it is, you cannot criticize a single mother or where she would leave me behind at as a child when we're not criticizing what happened in 2011, where the law enforcement had to take a government informant to be involved and go there and try to stop my dad, the greedy framer, from giving sermons to people in the masses to join terror groups, commit mass murder, and kill innocent human beings. That was an act. It was not saying, it was doing, and it was extremely dangerous. Depending on how long my dad, the greedy framer, had been doing this, and determines how many people have been radicalized, how many people sent to terror groups, how many people have mass murdered other human beings. We do not know the effects of. Now, the fact of the matter is, when I was a child, less than not even mentally mature enough yet in the world, you have to understand the fact that it was only saying and not doing. Not only that, right now, law enforcement might try all kinds of delusional drugging to try to make me look like a bad person, but the facts and evidences will show that from the moment I became even slightly mentally mature as a child, my mother made sure that I was never even remotely in a setting where anything remotely considered bad might be said around me. Not only that, I've never lived with anyone except for my mother throughout my entire life, never even lived in the same country as my dad, the greedy framer, never talked to him on the phone, making it impossible for a person of that type to have had any influence on my life or environment whatsoever. Now, the other thing that you have to remember is the case that they might try to make is, oh, he was with someone who was a bad person, so he became a bad person in his mind. The fact of the matter is, I've had a brain scanner attached to my brain for years in the past, before July 1st, 2023, when law enforcement told about it due to their sex scheme and sex addiction. The fact of the matter is, that brain scanner will prove beyond a reasonable doubt that I never thought about harming a single person, never planned to harm a single person, never looked down on a person of another religion, whether I was meeting a Christian person, Orthodox Jewish person with long beard, anything of that sort of nature, never tried to do anything of that sort or nature against any human being on this planet, definitely not due to their race and ethnicity, and that I ended up being exactly like how my mother raised me to be from the moment I gained the slightest bit of mental maturity. And this talking point about assumptions cannot be made by people like my dad, the greedy framer, who we're not assuming we're knowing and seeing exactly what he did in 2011 that caused the government informant to be involved, and the law enforcement handle it exactly like how it always did, by tipping him off. But if they did not tip him off, I can guarantee you that there would have been people from those sermons in the masses who would have joined terror groups, who would have mass murdered innocent human beings, who would have committed acts of violence against other human beings in other countries in the world due to what my dad, the greedy framer, was dangerously doing as an imam. I could quote to you exactly what that government informant was saying on the very last day before he closed down his circus due to seeing that he was caught. The government informant on the very last day was keep on telling him, Mr. Ansari, you don't think, I think that, they misquoted jihad in the religion now. I don't think it is like how it's supposed to be. And he would be like, no, wait, let me do this. He's an attention seeker. He likes attention. And then he just changes back to what he was originally saying, claiming that jihad basically does mean mass murder of innocent human beings, and that innocent human beings should be murdered, and that it must and that that people should basically join terror groups in order to do so. And he went back to saying what he was saying originally. That man, government informant, his favorite words, twisting my words. He was twisting his words. He should have let him twist his words. He did not let him twist his words, due to which now we have facts and evidences against him. These are not assumptions. He cannot be making assumptions about me that because I was a child being adult supervised by someone due to a forced necessity of a single mother, that I would be a bad person, due to the fact that I never did anything bad, never attempted to do anything bad. And not only that, you have a brain scanner attached to my brain proving that I love everyone of every race and religion, ethnicity, whether they're Jewish or Orthodox Jewish with long beards, or Christian people, or anything of that sort of nature, the exact same way that I would treat or love anyone else. And my mother loves people of every single religion, ethnicity there is, to the point that if I ever would be with her at a mall and I would ask her, like, I'm gonna have a Jewish wife, she would give me such a nice, lovely answer that I'd just be like, man, if only I asked her this question at home. This idea that my dad, the greedy framer, is now trying to stoke up fear into people, to only to make sure that my brain savant couldn't get feared, so that no one gets the money that he cannot get. It's so obvious. The man has tried everything from incest to blackmail price tags, and every single thing that not only he said, the false testimonies that he had his kids made were all found to be false as well. So there's absolutely nothing that this man can be speaking of right now. Definitely not assumptions about someone like me, since I never attempted to do anything bad, never did anything bad. And except for that, I have a brain scanner attached to my brain for years, proving that I never wanted to do anything bad to anyone either. So this thing does not make any sense. And claiming that it's my fault or my mother's fault that I was adult supervised by anyone willing to watch me for free, you have to look at the circumstances around a single mother. Even as an adult, my mother was not able to provide for me food, due to which I had to tutor people while in school for food. And even when I would tutor people for food, they would find out that I was pretty broke, and whatever they would find out, and I would literally have to steal food from their kitchen and threaten them with not tutoring anymore if they didn't share good food with me. Law enforcement is a witness to all of these things. If a mother was not able to provide for her kids as an adult due to being a single mother, what are the chances she'd be able to get me an excellent daycare as a child? Absolutely zero. She put me wherever it was for free, and she did it after speaking to law enforcement. Every child deserves a second chance, especially considering the fact that my mother had already talked to law enforcement before she had put me anywhere that would watch me for free. And ever since I was became even slightly mentally mature as a child, as my mother promised on February 15th at 8:30 p.m., never was I ever seen in any settings where anything remotely considered bad was ever said around me ever again. Proving through facts and evidences that every single thing that my mother said was true. She was never present in any setting where anything bad could have been said around me. Clearly proving that she was working at a fast food restaurant. She only had certain places that would watch me for free. Beggars can't be choosers, and my mother wasn't there. She can't be blamed. The child being blamed there was only there due to force and necessity, due to not having any other place, and that child was removed from every setting the moment I became even slightly mentally mature, clearly showing that my mother and I meant no mischief against anyone, or else that time period after I became even slightly mentally mature as a child would have shown clearly and exactly the fact that I had mischief inside of me using the brain scanner attached to my brain, or me attempting to or trying to harm anyone in any way, shape, or form. None of it's there. In fact, the brain scanner will show evidence that not only did I never want to or plan to do anything against anyone, but that I would meet everyone of every race and religion, whether they're Christians or Orthodox Jewish people of long beards. I would meet them with the same level of love and respect as anyone else, just like how my mother raised me to be like. And my mother has never been heard uttering one word considered bad her entire life, since day one of 2001, when I was an 11-year-old child, till this very day today. And like never, not once, like literally, like law enforcement would be impressed by her answers. Well, they didn't hear the answer. Like when I would initially ask my mother, she would always have like the loveliest answer ever. Whether I would be walking with her at a mall and I would ask her like if I'm gonna have like a Jewish wife, she would give me such a nice answer. I'd just be like, man, if only I asked this at home. She's never uttered one word considered bad her entire life. And this psychopath dad, the greedy framer of mine, is trying to lock up my brain savant using all these false testimonies, lies against me, only to make sure that money he cannot get, no one else can get either. And we know that this is all about money, and these people are all predators for money, due to the fact that right now, after the June 24th brain savant test result was overanalyzed, and it was only overanalyzed due to the fact that these people are sex addicts, and they're having problems running after these girls, that are basically refusing them over and over again, and they want me to run scams on these girls. Yeah, I'm not doing this. I'm already being scammed by 3 different people right now. Miss Deb, the greedy framer. Miss Deb is, okay, for the greedy framer, Miss Deb's trying her daughter, Ashley, who's married, not divorced or separated. She's married. Yeah, so that's definitely a scam. For the greedy framer trying 2 of her daughters while arguing in court that I'm a bad person who's a brain savant should get locked up. And now you have a 3rd person, Ibrahim the greedy framer, who tried on July 18, 2 days ago, to try to get me to marry his sister. Only because the artificial intelligence report from June 24th last month was overanalyzed, which clearly shows that it could have been overanalyzed in the first place. They chose not to do it because they don't like looking at reality in the eye. And the fact of the matter is, when I said that I have the brain savant powers of instantaneous photographic memory, innovation, and focusing, and that my brain savant powers increases over time, and that I am Rain Man, I could do literally more than 1,000 pages of R-involves medicinal chemistry in less than a day's time, meaning that if I have innovation with that as well, which was tested a few weeks before April 22nd, 2025, if I have innovation along with that as well, which we know I do, then in 30 days time, that's more than 30,000 pages, and along with innovation, it would be nothing short of high statistical probability and chances of me getting my zero tolerance coffee done for the first month and getting something done every single month afterwards, and that this is literally all I do from morning till night, since every autistic person has their own natural habitat, and this has been mine, and was so for 4 years, from October 2019 till July 1st, 2023, each and every single day from morning till night, all day long, just like how it was from when I was a 9-year-old child, the History Channel logo, that they proved that this is how my brain savant started off when I was a 9-year-old child. They proved it through their time machine on January 20th, 2026. Just ask them what the time machine is, what I mean by that. They'll tell you. Anyways, but yeah, right now, like, all this is about is their sex addiction, and they've gotten to the point where they're basically asking me to help them scam girls, other people's daughters. And when I'm refusing, even yesterday, they threatened to like break my car, like Jiffy Lube and this and that, blah, blah, blah. If you don't do it, then we're going to take oil out of your car. This right here. Let me show you. July 28th, 8:22 a.m. Only a little while ago. This is Pep Boys. Okay, this is Pep Boys basically saying that if you don't help us scam these girls, we're gonna take oil out of, like, break your car, basically. And this is supposed to be Ibrahim, the greedy framer, 8:41 a.m. It's supposed to be him, but basically it's Junaid and Ibrahim. They're both basically sex addicts, and like it goes against what they're trying to say. What they were saying in the start was that I'm the sexual predator and I made up these lies about my brain savant. First of all, I never told anyone about my brain savant. Law enforcement did, and I'm not stupid enough to tell anyone about my lottery ticket, and I consider my brain savant much more valuable than a lottery ticket. I'm not stupid enough to tell anyone, and I never did. What happened was I found out on August 9, 2022, and I kept it a secret with myself. Law enforcement told everyone by June 2023. Like a year later. And the prime example of that is Miss Deb, who was told June 2023, and there's no instance of me ever even whispering into anyone's ears about my brain savant until August 25th, 2023, when I won my court case, and I was just like, I know you know about my brain savant. I also know you obviously have a brain scanner. I want to study now. And they didn't let me study even after August 25th, 2023. But yeah, Yeah, so that's exactly what happened. So basically, I'm not the one who told anyone about it in the first place. They did, law enforcement did, and I'm not the sexual predator since I never ran after any of these girls. These people are, law enforcement are, and yesterday they were getting rejected by these girls again, mainly Junaid was, and Junaid is only doing all of this due to his sex addiction. He tries to run after these girls he doesn't even know, people that I knew in my life, and then he gets rejected by them, threatened to have the police call on them, then he asks his sisters, whom I'd never met in my life, like 3 times in my entire life. He would ask his sisters to go narrate against me in a trial, claiming that my brain savant should get locked up only because someone said something bad around me as a child, when in fact the real reason is he's getting rejected by these girls, and due to extreme envy, he sees the only option to buy time by forcing my brain savant to continue being locked up, only due to extreme envy, so that he could continue trying to run after these girls, even though he's having the police threaten on him every single day almost, including yesterday, which is July 19th. Junaid would have the police threaten on him by one of the girls who were coming after me, and then Junaid was running after them. And obviously he was too humiliated, and he thought that, man, if I don't do something, his brain savant's going to get freed, and then my chances of even begging the girls are going to end if his brain savant gets freed. So then Junaid goes and he begs his sisters to go and narrate in the trial against me, despite me never even meeting any of his sisters ever in my life. He asked his sisters to go narrate in the trial against me, not just narrate against me, despite me never meeting his sisters. His sisters are basically claiming the only thing that's left after all the fabricated false testimonies are caught, saying that when I was a child, someone saying something bad around me, even remotely considered bad, is my fault as a child, due to which my brain savant should be locked up right now, which I do not think makes any sense to begin with. But they're going to try to exaggerate everything as much as possible, only due to extreme envy and Junaid thinking that if my brain savant gets freed, that he has no chances of even begging the girls that are threatening to call the police on him literally every single day, including yesterday, which was July 19th. Right now, we have separated fact from fiction, though, because right now law enforcement is begging me all day, night long, and threatening me, saying that please help us scam these girls, please help us scam these girls, and all I'm telling law enforcement is I will never do it. Okay. When my brain savant gets freed, I use my powers and I get my work done and I get married and go home. Like, I'm not interested in this stuff. Only lowlifes and weirdos do this, where they try to go scam other people's daughters into doing this. But now we've separated fact from fiction. Exactly who the sexual predator was, who the liar and the scam artist was, wasn't me. It was law enforcement and their friends, including Junaid, who is a sex addict, and Ibrahim, the Greedy Framer spokesperson. Junaid was trying to scam these girls, telling them that he was a CEO, director, whatever, when in fact he was working the same exact job as my sister, getting paid the same exact amount, getting into fights every single day, due to which now he's getting an early retirement, and now these people want me to scam other people's daughters into sleeping with them, which is absolutely insane, disgusting, and bad, and now they're threatening me with breaking my car and things of that sort of nature. All I have to say is I am sick and tired of the predatory behavior. I know what predators are like. I've had to deal with predators myself, and I'm dealing with them right now. Mainly, men are prey for money if they have an extremely rare, profitable brain savant like the one I have, and girls are prey for sex, especially if they're pretty. And right now, I know for a fact that I'm being scammed by 3 different people. Miss Deb, whose daughter, by the way, is married, not divorced or separated, and she wants me to marry her married daughter. How many husbands is her daughter gonna have? Second person is for the Greedy Framers. She's not only trying to get me married to 1 daughter, 2 daughters that she's advertising and saying pick one or the other. Every single day I say I don't want her. I've been saying this since June 16. I'm like, I don't want her. Like, I told law enforcement June 16, I was like, can you please tell her I don't want her daughter? Like, seriously, I don't want her. And like, next day an ad for her daughter, next day an ad for her daughter, next day another ad for her daughter, next day another ad for her daughter. It's going on each and every single day. Right now, after July 8th, I labeled it a complete total scam and a prenup scam to try to force me to sign that same $60 million deal that Fur the Greedy Framer has been sending me through blackmail price tag since February 21st, at least 8 times already. And yeah, and she still sent it to me. She still sent me requests basically blackmails for me to sign that prenup marriage scam for her daughter, despite me labeling it a prenup marriage scam. I'm sick and tired of this predatory behavior. And I've said no since day one. I labeled it a scam on July 6, 2026. Literally 2 weeks ago, 14 days ago, and it's still being sent to me right now, which is like insane. Like you're openly sending me a scam through blackmail with the fear of false testimonies and lies against me. And like, I've been saying, I don't want it. I don't want her. I don't want her. I do not want her. And like, she's still sending it to me. Like, let me show you what I mean by this. Okay, this is the kind of stuff that she's sending me. Okay, this is the kind of stuff that Farrah the Greedy Framer has been sending me. Look at what the girl is wearing with the gym clothes. Okay, two of her daughters, one's supposed to be Zara, the other's supposed to be Ifra. Incredibly annoying, predatory behavior. Like, I said, no, lady, I don't want your daughters. I'm not interested. What part of no do you not understand? I kept saying it over and over again. Like, I was just like, I don't want her. I do not want her. I said, I'm good, really. I told law enforcement June 16. I was like, can you please go tell Farrah the Greedy Framer I'm not interested in her daughter. I don't want her. Like, this kind of predatory behavior that I have to go through this with every single day. I got 2 advertisements for her daughters this morning, July 20th, that I haven't even documented yet in my Gmail. Sick and tired of this. So Miss Deb trying to scam me for her married daughter who's not divorced or separated. All I want to ask Miss Deb is, who sent me ads with her husband again yesterday, July 19th. I want to ask Miss Deb, how many husbands is your daughter going to have? Because she already has one. And she's not separated or divorced, so clearly she's trying to look for 2 husbands at one time. And then you have someone like crazy like Farrah the Greedy Framer, who's also a predator. Both of these people are running prenup marriage scams. Farrah the Greedy Framer, by the way, since February 21st, has sent me this blackmail price tag for $60 million. Like, it's so disgusting and weird how these people are. Like, a person raised in poverty hasn't even like seen a dollar, not a penny of his money yet, and these people are already asking for money, like blackmail price tags of like, when you get it, this is how much I want. Like, lady, I haven't gotten it, and in case you don't know, 60 million might look like really nice number on a calculator, but $60 million is a lot of money, and I have 0 right now. Yeah, and she's sent me $60 million at least 8 times since February 21st. That's the kind of predatory move that she's making. And I said no. I don't want your daughter, lady. I don't want her. I'm good, really. I said it first time, June 16th. Like, law enforcement went and told her June 16th. Like, he said no. Since July 8th, I've labeled this a prenup marriage scam, and I've received at least 30 of these prenup marriage scams after July 8th. 2 weeks ago, 14 days ago. Today's July 20th. And, July 6th. I labeled it prenup marriage scam. I received at least 30 since then. Okay, these people are predators. I have to deal with Miss Deb. She wants me to marry her already married daughter. It's just like, lady, how many husbands you can have at one time? And then Farrah the Greedy Framer is advertising 2 of her daughters to me. And then now you also have Ibrahim, the Greedy Framer spokesperson, and his psycho envious mother, who are advertising their daughter to me as well. And it's just so annoying. Like, look at this. This is July 18, 11:22 a.m. July 18, 11:22 a.m. This is these were the kinds of pictures that I saw the entire day that day. I just took like 1 or 2 of them. Okay. Basically, yeah, the girl doesn't look anything like his sister, by the way, but these were the girls that he was sending pictures of some girl at a stadium or something like that. It doesn't look anything like his sister, but I know for a fact he was sending me ads for his sister all day that day. Incredibly annoying predatory behavior. I already have to go deal with all of this. Basically, excuse me. What happened was they were getting rejected from sex every single day, having the police threaten on them. And what ended up happening was they thought that it was all my fault because these girls were running after me in the first place. So now it's my fault that these girls don't want them. Well, I was never running after these girls in the first place. And so basically what ended up happening was they did a brain savant test June 24th. And the only option that they had right now was, well, we don't want to do another brain savant test. Obviously, obviously not, because obviously just going to prove that his brain savants were there, obviously. So what they did do was they overanalyzed what was already there from June 24th. Big mistake. Overanalyzing it only showed them exactly how powerful my brain savant was, which is obviously extremely powerful. Check the definition of what a brain savant is on Google. It'll tell you it's a human being with superhuman abilities. Superhuman is above normal human beings. In case you didn't know, it's not below. So saying that a brain savant is not thousands of times more powerful than normal human beings is a contradictory statement on its own, considering what the definition of brain savant is. So I have to deal with all these predators myself coming after me, since guys who have higher probability than normal human beings of making extreme amounts of money have to deal with predators, just like how the girls that are pretty have to deal with predators scamming girls for sex, just like how they're scamming men who have a higher chance of making millions of dollars more than normal human beings. I have the highest chance out of any other human being on this planet. If you don't believe me, check the artificial intelligence report and check for yourself. If there's another human being on this planet who's a triple savant, whose brain savant powers increase over time, ask law enforcement if mine does, and they'll tell you from the November 14, 2025 result, May 10, 2026 result, June 24, 2026 result that's just been overanalyzed. Plus, I've got innovation as well a few weeks before April 22nd, 2025. And law enforcement will tell you that I'm literally the only human being on this planet that has the highest chance of becoming extremely rich than any other human being on this planet. That is literally what this is all about. So law enforcement is sending me all these threats to try to get me to sleep with these girls and then like pass them around someone else's daughter. Like seriously, like I've said it before, like if I had a daughter and like the guy was a nice guy, he was a millionaire or a billionaire, he wasn't married or anything like that, but he was really really rich, he was a nice guy, he came over, he talked to me, I would let my daughter go sleep at his house. I wouldn't care. But someone who's claiming to be a CEO when in reality he's making the same amount of money as my sister, working the same job, the only difference is he's losing his job every single year, gets into fights every other day, he's a married man with 2 kids, and he's getting an early retirement this year. Or another guy who's a drug addict, overdoses on drugs every single week, goes to the emergency room. I would smack them across the face and tell them to get the heck away from my daughter, obviously. And right now, law enforcement wants me to do this, and literally what it reminds me of is a very sad scene from, well, let's just leave that. This is July 20th, 8:22 a.m. This is this morning, okay? This is this morning. Like, look at that. It's Pep Boys, and what they're basically doing is they're threatening me and basically saying that if you don't help us scam these girls by sleeping with them and then passing them around to our weirdos, lowlifes, and drug addicts, then we're going to break your car, is what law enforcement is basically saying. And now we know exactly who the sexual predator was. Because if I was a sexual predator, right now would have been a perfect time for me to actually use this as an excuse and just been like, oh, it's law enforcement. They're forcing me to do this. I have no other option. I guess I'll have to sleep with these girls now anyways. Yeah, right. I'm never doing this. By the way, I don't have to. After my brain savant gets freed, I go get married and I live my life the way I want to. I already have to deal with I already have to deal with money predators. I'm not going to go become a predator myself. And yeah, if you're getting the police call and you're threatened to have to do so, that's because you are a lowlife and you should stop harassing other people's daughters. That might help you out, you know, but I'm not doing this. I don't have to, and I don't want to. But yeah, that's all I had to say. But now we know exactly who the sexual predator was. Because if I was the sexual predator, guess what? This running after these girls would have been a piece of cake for me. But I'm not going to do that because I don't need to, first of all. And second of all, after my brain savant gets freed, I could go get married anyway. So I don't need to cause all these problems for myself in the first place anyways. Definitely not to use someone else's daughter up so she would go and sleep with other people that are a bunch of lowlifes and drug addicts overdosing on street drugs every week and ending up in the emergency room, or people with 2 kids making up stories about themselves when in reality they're getting an early retirement, working the same job as my sister, making the same amount, and making up stories about themselves. And yeah, like, I'm not doing this. Scamming someone else's daughter like that. You wouldn't want your daughter to be scammed. I wouldn't want my daughter to be scammed. Like, why would I do that to someone else? I'm not doing this. So if you want to threaten to break my car, go right ahead. Be my guest. But I'm not going to do this. So yeah, that's that. That's all I had to say for now.